Okay, so we can do like a little pre-investigation review. So last time we started off at the carousel. The way our character's name is pronounced kind of triggered me a little bit. It's Date instead, but it's spelled date. It's like one of those. We've had this happen a few times in the Xbox Game Pass alone, like with Leon from A Plague Tale. She kept saying it's spelled Lion. I don't even think it had like a hyphen or apostrophe or whatever on it, but they say it Leon, like Leon. And then there was another name in that game too that did it, but whatever. I don't know what it is with these weird pronunciations. At least that one makes sense because, like, I wonder what it was in Japanese. Maybe it's the same thing, and maybe that is a common name. Not that I've ever really heard it, but why do they have to pronounce it like that if it's spelled that way? That's the only thing. Like, at least spell it differently. It's almost like Dante without the N, right? It's just something I've never heard before. But yeah, so we're some sort of well-renowned, well-known detective. We work for our boss, who generically we just call a boss. We've worked for like 6+ years. So you could excuse that with like, oh, we lost our memory in the past. But that was like, we lost it from like 6 or 7 years ago backwards. And we were apparently working for her even before then. But we're not even on a first name basis, which is weird. It almost seems like the sort of thing where they'd set up the option for the player to have like a love interest with her. And of course, we have a very young assistant female girl like we do in so many of these stories. Like Phoenix Wright is notorious for that. Not unlike Maya or Pearl or somebody like that. Trucy. But in this case, it's a 5-year-old AI. Now, obviously, AI years are a little bit different than people years because you know they even have, I've heard from a friend, not that I have any interest in such things, but like you can have a female robot for intimacy, or just robots in general for intimacy in Japan is a thing that's happened in the last few years. So technically it would be 1 year old, but it doesn't apply to real life standards. But yeah, there's definitely a trope of Japanese games for doing that, like foisting some young assistant on you, even if it's not always in that connotation. Like just even Professor Layton is like that. Is that even Japanese? Maybe I'm wrong in even saying that, but even then you have like a little boy. Like there's just something weird about always doing that. So you have the AI with you who's been with you for like 5 years. It appears like a bear on the overworld, and it appears so it can like jump out of your eye at will. It kind of serves as a little bit of a comic relief character. It really wasn't bad to start. It's just kind of weird and random and something that I probably would have never played normally. But that's kind of a bit of the fun and the trade-off of sort of a gauntlet format like this. The main issue, whether it's a console thing or not, I mean, we've already had so many issues trying to stream on console since we started again. This is the first time I've done it in a long time. I have a capture card, I have a good setup, everything works sometimes, but then like A Plague Tale was stuttering a little bit. This was having a crackling sound, so it's like this is the trade-off. Not only do you make the trade-off to stream on console, which itself is a negative, like, you know, frame rates, you know, other performance things, having to use a controller for aiming, all these kind of trade-offs that you naturally make anyway, but no, that's not enough. It has to fuck up beyond that, and I don't even know why necessarily. So yeah, we started off at the carousel. We had our boss there with us. The one thing that stood out to me about that scene was like, he said this isn't what we normally do. So what he normally does is more like the Inception thing where like you invade somebody's mind and you solve some mystery within there, almost like in their dreams or something. And we saw it within our own dream, which I wondered how is this mechanic going to work? Because like we're go in our own mind to solve a mystery, but it's not going to matter because we're not going to know all the answers to everything anyway. We're going to have to go in other people's minds, I guess is the implication. And we sat around, we read some flavor text in the office. So basically at the scene of the crime, we saw the girl was killed on the carousel. The boss let slip that, oh, you know, this might be a copycat from 6 years ago, which we apparently know nothing about. And then she was very tight-lipped about it in the office, like, oh, if you keep asking me that, I'll make sexual harassment charges, even though she's the one who's flirting with us. Like, oh, I can make it sexual even if it's not sexual. You're just asking about details relevant to the case that she brought up in the first place. And so she has some emotional connection to that. It's the ultimate conflict of interest scenario too, like where we know both the victim, who was like a semi-love interest friend of a friend thing, like our friend, our male friend who might be the prime suspect. I don't know any of the names. I'm not going to be that on point with it. But basically our male friend was the husband of the victim. So we knew her very closely, and we were taking care of her kid apparently, or it was like his ex. She was the ex-wife, whatever, of our friend. And so at some point we took custody of their kid, and we were taking care of them. So we were close to. So we found the kid inside of the carousel itself, in like the center console, and we have personal attachment to both of the people, like a witness or a possible suspect. I mean, this is such a cliche way for it to start, like, oh, you're gonna defend the little girl, she's gonna be accused, and that's gonna foster your bond, and she's gonna be your assistant on top of Aiba also being your assistant on top of the boss. So how many of these female characters of varying ages do we need in this story? But she's only like 12 or something, so she's more like a daughter figure, although technically in Japan the age is 13. It's just, you can't help but think about it like that, because that's obviously the implication from that standpoint. You can't say that, oh, they don't mean for it to. It's just such an overwhelming, overarching theme that we see in everything. Even Miles Edgeworth, I went into that saying, I wish I had that moment on a clip of that moment saved. That was one of the funniest things that ever happened to me on my old channel. Was like, Miles Edgeworth, I was like, you start off the game, he's much more serious than Phoenix. Phoenix is known for being ditzy and klutzy and kind of a moron, right? So his whole Maya saves him, and you have all these stupid moments happen. But with Edgeworth, I was like, yeah, case one, we have Gumshoe as like the comic relief sidekick, but at least he's an adult. And then we have Francisca, who's young, but she's an experienced prosecutor. So it's like, these are the kind of people Miles will have as the comic relief sidekicks, not Maya or somebody like that, who's just feels like an outsider. And then we get walloped in case 3 with Kay, and they even force you to go down that same path. But the reason why I was so confident at the end of case 2, I'm like, they always introduce the sidekick in case 2. So I was about to beat it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. We're not going to have to deal with like a little girl sidekick. I was so confident. I said it at the very end of case 2, and then right when case 3 starts, they have to schlong you with that. So we go ahead and look at this. I did just load it to see that the crackling wasn't happening, but it probably still will randomly happen. So we get to see a little flashback. That was the victim. That was the kid we discovered in the carousel. That is us exploring our dream. That's how Aiba looks in the dream. And then we get to look at our lovely boss in the office. So I think we just head out. We headed. There's voice acting kind of selectively, so I don't really know how they determine just if it's important things or when you first meet a character. They kind of did that in Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, like where some of the first and last lines a character said would be voice acted, but not all the ones obviously in the middle, like during testimony and stuff. So I don't know if this is the soba shop that we were talking about, like getting traumatized, PTSD from the fucking 4th case of Spirit of Justice. Whenever I hear that now, I get flashbacks to that case, which was horrible. But I forget what even the context of this is. Thankfully, this game at least has a backlog. But in this case, I can't actually go back any further from the scene.
Oh, hello.
So this is the some of the stuff in the journal is really silly too. Like maybe, can I look at it even now? I don't think I actually can. Or yeah, I can look at the file and stuff. Some of it was very basic. Like they were defining terms which are just so mundane. So boss is just called boss. She's 42, but that's some 42-year-old. I guess we could read through some of this again, but I don't really even want to. Let's just get the names and stuff down. So Kaname Date were 30. We've been working with her for at least like 7 years. Like classic cars. Police officer of Advanced Brain Investigation Squad. So yeah, when he said like, oh, this isn't what we normally do, as in going to the scene of the crime directly, that means that what he normally does is to do with the dream stuff, which we still haven't been properly introduced to. I guess we were introduced to it in our own mind. And on the flip side, we have a situation where he was acting all ignorant about it, like he didn't really know what he was doing. So they almost are portraying it like he's lost his memory just now, but he lost it like 6-7 years ago. I think it even says that. He lost his eye 6 years ago, replaced it with a prosthetic which houses an advanced artificial intelligence known as Eyeball. He also lost his memory past 6 years ago, which has nothing to do with right now. Like that's just a way to female according to settings. Yeah, I think we can trust our eyes on that. She likes 100000 coding joke. Sneaks outside Date's eye socket while he's sleeping and makes mischief, which at first I questioned how that would be possible. But even the icon shows up like the bear thing there, even though Yeah, what is it with bears in these games too? Like you get Monokuma, artificial intelligence controlled bears. Aiba is an autonomous artificial intelligence. She usually takes the shape of an eyeball and resides in Date's left eye socket. She assists him by gathering information, connecting to networks and databases using X-ray and thermographic functions. Mizuki is our daughter. She's making a very alpha fighting pose there. 12 years old, July 6th birthday, 6th grader is her profession. Oh, she studies martial arts, that's why. She's just kind of laid back there. Apparently she could get drunk, but it was within our dream. Like she sipped the wine and she started to get all emotional, like how we're always mean to her or something. Breeding Cleone, collecting Addo Rabbit merch. We haven't really had a proper conversation with her, and she was like holding the weapon, so it's like a prime opportunity for a prime suspect scenario where we'll have to do the investigation with ultimate ulterior motives and conflict of interest, where we're trying to defend the suspect instead of just trying to get the facts of the case. But of course we have to be right, because that's just how these stories go. Mizuki is their daughter, the victim and the ex-husband. Although she is not related to Date, he became her de facto guardian 4 years ago. I don't know why that is. Like, because they broke up or something? The two have lived under the same roof ever since. So you could not be more personally involved if you want. So he's the only other person really that could be a suspect. Somebody called like from an anonymous phone booth to report the crime. So it could have been him, close to the scene of the crime. So they were, Shoko, skills are lying and cheating. Now you have to keep in mind who's writing this journal. So she could have, we could have sort of bitterness towards her. Lying and cheating, dislike someone who hurt her in the past, which could be either us or I guess she doesn't dislike them anymore because she's dead. She likes to be envied and praised. It just sounds like a very passive-aggressive description, not to be taken at face value. She's the ex-wife of Renju Okiura and Mizuki's mother. So maybe we're no, we're not related though, so I don't know how we got roped into. That's like the ultimate cuck thing to do, right? Like, we take care of her kid while she elopes with another man, even though it doesn't say that we were necessarily together either. On a Friday night in November, she was found on the, it was literally like the previous day to right now. I don't know why it says that so broadly. She was found on the merry-go-round in the defunct amusement park known as Bloom Park. Her left eye socket was hollowed out. So maybe she had an AI thing in her eye too, like us. We got like matching pairs when we were together 6-7 years ago before we lost our memory. And just the fact that maybe the motive was to steal her eye too. And they strategically put sunglasses on her so you can't see what's within her eye. 36 deceased, dead years old. Commander of Abyss, the special investigation team of the Metropolitan Police Department, likes wine, gourd dolls, anything black. Happy Family's ex-boyfriend, she had like a certain affection to her, some mannequin in her office. Skills, grasping people's weaknesses, applying pressure, making them obey. Boss is Date's direct superior and longtime friend. She appears to be an easygoing optimist with a carefree attitude, but she is as cunning as a fox with a quick wit. Okay. Appendix, I mean, we already read these, but just see if something catches my eye. Some of these descriptions were just so stupidly basic, like, I forget. A type of wound. That's all it'll say. A puncture wound is a kind of stab wound. Like, what the fuck is that? Description. Yeah, thanks for wasting my time with reading through the flavor text for that. So this was her drinking the wine. We didn't actually get to see this scene, and we get to kind of see her exoskeleton and veins through her skin. So you only get to see her like this in a dream, I suppose. Presumably other people's dreams as well as our own. So how exactly are we going to hack into people's minds is the big question. And why do we think that's necessary on like an investigation to investigation basis? But yeah, she drank it standing up, and so this is just like concept art or something that we get to see. This is the eye. I guess his regular eye and the eyelashes would kind of tell you that. Genius deduction already. He's got kind of a laid-back personality himself. I'm not sure what this is. This is not kind of a view of ourselves that we've seen. Like, part of his face is messed up too, or I guess it's to accommodate the eye. But so here it looks like his left eye that's been taken out, and here it looks like it's the right eye, so I'm not sure. That's kind of confusing to the player. Like maybe, again, it could just be alternate concept art. This is the Aiba itself in the wine glass. I'm not sure why. Some big emphasis and obsession with wine early on. Having the AI drink it, having all this art of it, having the boss like it. It's just been mentioned a lot. This is like the revolver we used while... The evolver that we used in the vision itself, in the dream, to open the door. But we didn't open the door by shooting it the way that Date shot the carousel door open to rescue the girl. I mean, that was a very risky maneuver, and we didn't have a choice there. She actually stuck it in like the keyhole, so there might be a lot of random shit like that that you have to use in creative ways. We had the option to shoot it though, but I just wanted to do something different. So yeah, you start off, there's the carousel scene. You can seemingly just go back and replay it if you want. So there is a failure state. We got confirmation of that at least. Like if you fuck up too many times in the dream with what you're supposed to do. I forget where it said that. Sink it in the brain. They're really obsessed with showing that imagery of the wine. Like it shows you two pictures of the scene, neither of which we actually got to see, but both of which are, you know, involving wine. We did make her drink it though, just standing up. And by make her, I mean, you know, it's part of the investigation. It's for science purposes. Ongoing, so we don't know what this is. In fact, I don't even know where I am, like why I came here. I went to some random restaurant. Let me look through. First of all, what told me about the failure state? I guess we'll slowly put together why we even came here. Central Hospital. Puncturing instrument, which we don't know what it was, obviously. Or no, we do. She was holding it. Mizuki. Ice picks and trowels fall under this category, among many other things. Investigation. So somewhere here it says, if you fail X amount of times, mental locks. Very reminiscent of Psych Locks from Phoenix Wright, but it's kind of a totally different interpretation of it. I don't like how you can't walk around as Date. You can only walk around in the dreams themselves as Aiba. Retry will allow you to return to a save point, so we're not going to be able to do that after unlocking a lock, but you only have 3, or maybe we should use that. So we have a 3-strike rule. Going back 1 lock costs 1, going back 2 costs 2, and going back 3 costs all 3. You will regain... So what does that mean? You will return to a save point after unlocking a mental lock, but you only have 3. So why would you have to go back multiple locks anyway? Maybe like it'll checkpoint and you have to do a certain number. So once we spend all 3 retries, we'll die and the game is over. That's how we're going to treat it. I don't know if it should be as harsh as just one of them. You regain your 3 retries by selecting restart from the menu or by failing. But that's not something we're going to be able to do. So we can retry, but we can't restart. But it's even saying, oh, that's the best option if time is low, like... you could make so many jokes about date, like, oh, that was our date, she was drinking wine, we had such a good time. Date A and date B was a little bit less exciting. She took out a gun and stuffed herself into the glass itself. Yeah, that pronunciation is just going to trigger me. So why did we go to the restaurant? I don't even remember, and there's not really anything. I guess we can look at the file. The day after Shoko's corpse was discovered, Date visited Abyss HQ to exchange information with Boss. Aiba claimed to know who reported the body. Oh, so that could be why. Maybe it's this person? It was somebody on a payphone.
I'm sorry, we aren't open yet.
It could be this chick or somebody who works here.
Oh, I'm not a customer.
Thank God it has a backlog at least.
I'm here for something else.
Like, they even fully animate his body and everything. Like, why can't you just walk around? I really hope they let you do that. Because the first scene with the carousel was us looking in first person, like a point and click. And that's probably what this is going to be too, unfortunately. I flashed my badge. We don't get to show off evidence ourselves, I guess, as a mechanic. Or at least not yet. Sometimes it's confusing how stuff appears in that diamond shape, because it's like... You know, like when Aiba jumped out, I was stuck in a thing looking at ourselves. So you get to move the camera with the right, and you get to move inside of the box with the left, I think.
Oh, heavens, no. Is my boy... Is Ota in trouble?
Calm down, ma'am. I'm just here to ask some questions.
She might have been the one who reported it, but she seems kind of oblivious. You hurried out of the kitchen. They really need to fade to black for that?
His mother,
Who is Ota? I don't even know.
And your name, ma'am?
Mayumi Matsushita.
Miss Matsushita. Before we talk, could I make a request?
Mm,
Could you put that knife down, please?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
oh, goodness. Sorry.
Her eyes kind of got wider in a bit of a creepy way. Put the knife down on the table. Why does it make it seem like every scene is such a big event? Like, oh my goodness, she put the knife, like she went from behind the counter to outside of the counter. Wow, what a great event that was. That was like a 5-minute scene that we had to skip through. Why couldn't it just... There's something weird with the way this is designed, like where it always has to fade to black. So we unfortunately are stuck with this point and click thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Even though obviously we have to endure it with Phoenix Wright. I just think it's such an old school, antiquated way of doing things that newer games should not do. And it even teases you with the fact that Aiba can walk. An old CRT television.
That thing gets any channels?
Why does his voice sound like that?
Unlikely.
Why does he sound so weird there?
Do not detect any tuners or antennas.
Nothing's playing on it, so it doesn't let you reread some of that stuff, but you can't hear this. So his voice changes, I guess, when he's talking to Aiba, but I didn't remember it being that distorted and weird. Let me look at this.
You think that thing gets any channels?
So weird and echoey.
Unlikely.
I do love that you can replay the voice in there, too, in the backlog. Menus written on the wall in Tenzaku paper. Don't know what that
That is
means.
the autograph of Iruka from Dark Zone Kalimas.
Who?
It sounds like she's a fan, even. Some celebrity's autograph. It sounds like... Looks like there's a million of them, though. She's only pointing out one in particular. I wonder if these are, like, fake, made-up stuff, or... You know, how, like, they do the Steel Samurai or something. Like, what was that the little girl's a fan of? She likes to collect rabid dolls or something. Dark Zone Kalimas. And there was some kind of boy band in the... boss's office, so all this fictional celebrities that we get to worry about, some of which we might meet later, or who might be a suspect, or we might defend them. I can see the kitchen area past the counter. There's always some implication of this, even if you're not playing as like a defense attorney character. It always feels like in Danganronpa you're defending yourself, or you presumably could have been defending Sayaka, which would have worked out pretty poorly. Nothing but a window. The clouds, they tell me nothing. A beer ad on the wall.
It's cute.
You have zero standards, Kaname Date.
Dude, your boss is the best option you have. I mean, even though she's 42, which she certainly doesn't look like, I hope they do let you go with some romantic element there. Like, you know, Danganronpa spends so much of the first couple days where you're trapped in a hostage situation by Monokuma, and you're worried about flirting with people and all this kind of stuff, going on dates with them, basically. That is not the time to do it, but I guess you feel so helpless you just make the best of it. Nothing but a window, nothing but a window. A beer ad on the wall. So he finds this chick attractive with no facial features, but not his boss. Lucky Cat statue.
What the hell?
That was quite loud.
Are you unfamiliar with the superstition? Imitating a cat's meow to a lucky cat statue grants that person happiness and luck.
So in all our 5 years together, you never bothered to mention this before.
Is that right?
You've never seen a Lucky Cat statue. It's just like, it doesn't feel like a day-to-day thing that we've done with either Aiba or our boss. We just act like we're strangers meeting for the first time. And it's not like we just lost our memory, like I said. Beer cases. I hate stuff like that, though. There is some generic flavor text. That's about as generic as it gets. Beer cases. If you click on it, it says beer cases. Like, why even bother putting that in there? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Just don't let me examine it then. A table.
Salt,
Condiments.
pepper, a blend of red cayenne and spices, and an unidentified liquid.
Unidentified.
This is Mayumi's black sauce.
Give it to your boss. She likes black stuff, right? That was the one identifying trait. I'm assuming we're the ones who wrote that. That's why we're being so vindictive towards the victim. Neither of us can figure out what that sauce is, even though it says it right there. A round...
Large jellyfish.
Sure. It's a large jellyfish in the middle of this restaurant here.
What? It's a chair. What are you talking about? Was that supposed to be a joke or what?
large jellyfish.
Is she having... She says it so seriously there that it doesn't sound like she's joking. A bucket.
Please remind you of your delinquent youth.
Hey now, don't judge a book by its cover. Besides, I have no memory of my youth.
The past 7 years ago, so we still haven't heard what exactly happened to
I
him.
wouldn't know.
What does a bucket have to do with that anyway? Neither of us can figure out what it is. So it doesn't make it very clear. Oh no, it does gray it out if you examine it already. Disposable. Oh my god. See, I'm such a completionist and OCD in the sense that I have to look at every piece of flavor, but not if it's going to keep doing that shit. That's a kitchen knife that she put down, I'm presuming. Something is engraved on the handle. Zoom in. Ooh, I like how slick and quick the AI is, though. Or not the AI, the UI. So here, yeah, what confused me here is I kept trying to move like this. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm a moron. But you actually have to go inside and do it with the other stick. This is a pretty cool game, but again, it's some obscure, unknown thing that I never would have heard of or played if not for this permadeath precedent gauntlet that we always do, like with Steam. At least with Steam, it's stuff that I already own, so I had some intention to play it. With like the PS Now gauntlet or the PS Plus, what is it? Yeah, I think PS Now gauntlet. Or with this, you get to experience all kinds of other things. You could also do it with PS Plus, like all the games that you add to your library every month. But there's so many that I missed over the years that it wouldn't really be fun. Or I could still make it like where I'll play whatever games you would have gotten from PS Plus over the years. Oh, that would be way too many though. Even if I don't have them on there, I'll just get it or whatever.
Kitchen knife with a floral pattern.
But that could get expensive.
And there's something written on the handle.
Mom, I love you always.
So she can't be the killer.
That knife for Mother's Day when he was in elementary school.
Okay, so Ota was the one who reported the body. That must be why we're here. Gave me the knife for Mother's Day.
He knows how much I love flowery designs.
And
I've
he-
used it every single day since he gave it to me.
Okay, that sounds like a clue that's going to come into play. Like, I don't know how, but some slippers on the ground in the background. Oh, I want to make sure I don't advance it before I read all this other redundant flavor. This is going to tell me what it is. It's a calendar. That shows you how great the writing in Kathy Rain was. There was very little canned generic dialogue like that. Most of it was either expository, like it would tell you something important you need to know about the case, or it would develop somebody's character like Kathy's or somebody else's. It would be something more than just basic banal text.
It's more than just a kitchen knife. It means the world to me.
So Oda is known as a delinquent, though. She was even worried, like, oh, what did he do this time? So wait, what did we even do? We looked in the engraving, and somehow that prompted a conversation with her. So what was she even killed with? She was killed with like an ice pick type of thing? Or maybe we couldn't find it? No, but I keep forgetting that our daughter figure, whatever. Okay, so it says the same thing on the top and the bottom. So it's grayed out now, but it wasn't grayed out before, like the second time I looked at it. So obviously talk to the character last is our basic instinct because we don't want to advance the story. Even the swinging door seems like something that could be progression. A small sitting
This
cushion.
reminds me of the funniest props compilation I saw.
You reached pretty far back for that reference.
A small sitting cushion. We gotta have some kind of ladder, step ladder argument.
That's just the calendar. Thank goodness we have that. Otherwise, I wouldn't know what year it is. I'm kidding, of course.
Makes her seem like an unreliable witness. It's November, but that calendar says January. Looking closely at it, even the year is wrong. This is old. Even what she was joking about doesn't apply, because it won't even help her. Neither of us can figure out what the sauce is. Low table. Amazing. That's almost retarded that they do that. Like, just say low table, but don't let me look at it to just say it again. I don't know why they do that. Somehow it's going to make you think it's pertinent to the case or something, but so we don't really have like an evidence, like a proper evidence record. It's more so just these are characters. These are all kinds of crazy shit. But what I mean is like they're unspecific. Like, does this show us the exact instrument in question? It tells you generically what a puncturing instrument might be, but it doesn't show you the exact one in question. So I'm not really sure how that aspect is going to work. It might not even matter because we'll just go into somebody's dream and use a gun to open a door and that'll solve the whole thing for us. I don't know if it's going to really require us to deduce things out in the field. Fortune, it says good luck. Is she going to do the little meow thing for these as well? Nothing but a window. It looks like you can interact with something here on the bottom, but it's not really letting me. A lucky cat statue. Okay, she won't give us that flavor again. I wonder if she'll say it with this one again then. I do like that it gets grayed out at least, but it's just very odd that they make you... What else is lighting up here? The bucket is still lighting up green. A bucket. Oh, so it even makes it so that it doesn't gray out until you look at it again after you've already looked at it. The counter. Amazing. I could have a counter for how many pieces of flavor text are just garbage canned description of exactly what it is. Not even descriptions, just restating what it says in the first place. So hopefully this won't skip our ability to interact with her. A swinging door.
A swinging door.
What? What is some of this dialogue? Like even how she said there's a... I don't get it. There's like a octopus in the thing, or what did she say? A jellyfish. It's just such random stuff. Where's your husband? Tell me about your restaurant. Is Oda there? I don't know why the text is getting cut off on the right there. Did I just ask from a bad angle? Okay, I guess that's kind of my fault, but you shouldn't really have to adjust for that. About the weather, is Oda here? Be so much more interesting if I could actually walk around. Just make small talk about the weather. Where's your husband?
That boy, he's been hanging out at this office building lately.
What kind of office?
Oh, what was it? It's a place where irresponsible young men hang out. Nonconformists and the like.
I do like how you can move the camera around so freely as you're doing this. You can just block their face with it or whatever.
Like gangsters?
Oh, heavens, no, nothing like that. Ota wouldn't go to a place like that.
Then...
Oh, I remember. It's a production office, an entertainment company.
But you're still calling everyone who goes there delinquents and degenerates. So you just have a negative opinion about it. What's the name of the company? I guess we'll get straight to the point, but I guess we could do the other flavor. Oda's mother just says the name.
What was it?
Makes you really appreciate games that do have good flavor text. This game seems to have a lot of it, but a lot of it is
I'm
garbage.
sorry, my memory's been so spotty.
Yeah, they've beaten that point like a dead horse already, like with the calendar and stuff.
Because there's a goddess there.
A what?
Ota says it all the time. A goddess. More like a witch, if you ask me.
A witch, huh?
Yes, a witch put a spell on my poor Ota. Makes him spend all his money on her. You see that box over there?
The one on the table?
Yes.
Oh, did I actually miss that to inspect it amidst all the shit that I looked at, or did it just appear there now?
Just look. You'll see what I mean.
Or maybe she just put it there? Oh, now I have to question my own ability to look at stuff.
Do you want to see? It was delivered a little while ago.
Any idea what's inside it?
It's bound to be merchandise from that horrible succubus. She forces Ota to buy them. I know it.
From her or for her? She said from her, though. Okay, we can wait on that. It'll probably be something related to one of these fictional celebrities or whatever subject matters that we've heard about, like what Mizuki's into. Where is your husband? About the weather? Okay.
Yes, that good-for-nothing temptress works for that entertainment group. She's an idol.
Do you know her name? I'm assuming it's not witch.
Or
Her
goddess.
name? I don't remember. I just call her the witch.
Alright, I'm getting nowhere. She doesn't remember the talent or the company.
Even I am at a loss.
Yeah.
Call him?
Yes. Does he have a cell phone?
A cell phone? Why would he need a cell phone if we have a phone at the house?
To talk to this chick behind your back,
Doesn't
probably.
He better not. Waste of money.
You give some weird expressions, like how she tilts her head like that.
Abandon this line of questioning, Date. Ota does have a phone. I found his number.
Call it.
I have already attempted to call multiple times.
A lot of privacy concerns with all this. Never mind hacking into people's brains. Just being able to look up somebody's number like that is questionable. He's not like a criminal. He's just, the way he called and left himself anonymous is a little bit suspicious, but even that you have the right to do. Or you don't have to identify yourself when you report a crime.
There is no connection. Either the phone is off, or he has no reception.
Let's hope he's not face down in a gutter somewhere.
That would be unsanitary, as well as a violation of waste disposal codes.
Tell me about your restaurant, about this idol. It seems like we can just keep going down this line of questioning that isn't going anywhere. Maybe if we ask about other things, it'll jumpstart her memory. You mentioned a box. What, that's just the end of it? I swear that wasn't there before. I would have seen
The
it.
rain last night was pretty bad, wasn't it?
The rain?
You can kind of just get a figure for like where he was. Where was your son at that time? Why was he at the amusement park late at night in the rain?
Oh, right, yes. Oh, it's just a little diner. But not to toot my own horn or anything. We do get quite a lot of customers here.
Does look pretty nice, but it's like all dusty. You can see like little particles floating around everywhere.
I manage it with my husband, but it can get pretty hectic during lunchtime.
See, we were able to ask the husband question at the beginning, but I do it kind of more in a realistic way. See, now that you mentioned the husband, we can segue into that.
Familiar.
I guess the weather thing is something you can just pull out of nowhere. As an icebreaker, I guess you could say.
Establishment is near the Kawasaki district that's been off limits for 8 years.
I guess that would work better if we were in an area where it actually snows or something.
Could mean. Never mind.
Why do both Iba and the boss leave like these little cryptic things hanging? Like, oh, there's this case from 6 years ago that could really help with this one, but I'm just going to mention it in passing and then never follow up on it and get mad at you if you're trying to ask me about it. Like, why would you do that? This establishment is near the Kawasaki district that's been off limits for 8 years. So what would that have to do with anything? Where's your husband? About this idol? How long have you been here? I guess we could see if she's been here for 8 years plus.
I think he went to buy some ingredients. He comes and goes all the time without telling me.
We should also look into the ex-husband, because he was like our prime suspect, but I guess we'll work our way to that through this guy. We gotta get some probable cause. So we're friends with a potential suspect there, we're the guardian of another suspect in the 12-year-old girl, and then we were involved somehow, friends with or enemies with the victim ourselves.
Nothing new.
Decided to ask her about Shoko just in case. Brought up the picture and showed it.
Does this woman look familiar to you?
Oh, I guess here we can see for sure that she doesn't have a AI eye, like I was speculating, because they showed her with the glasses and the other thing, and we didn't get a really good up-close look, I don't think, when we were there.
No, I don't recognize her. Who is she?
No one. Don't worry about it.
How long have you been here?
Oh, about 30 years now.
Jesus Christ. So you've been here at least since that 8-year period that she was talking about. I don't know why she left it hanging like that.
This establishment is near the Kawasaki district that's been off limits for 8 years.
Yeah.
We had to borrow a lot of money to get started, but back then, everyone was willing to lend you money.
You're exactly the type to forget them to pay you back. Maybe that's why they don't lend anymore. Not because they're not willing to, but because they know you don't even know what year it is or what day it is. You must really like flowers. Yeah, like, makes you feel stupid, like, oh yeah, I forgot about the box. But I'm wondering whether it was there in the first place or not now. You can zoom in on it. I really hope it doesn't do that stupid crackling thing again. It wasn't doing it at the beginning, but...
Date, there's a paper slip on that cardboard box. Why not try enlarging the image?
Okay, introducing a mechanic, kind of. Although I guess we got to do this with... What other object did we just get to do this with? I feel like there was something we zoomed in on. Oh, maybe the knife itself. Chekhov's knife, like that's gonna come into play somehow. That was the real murder weapon. Anytime they show you something like that. Even though it has nothing to do with the case, it's just what she cooks with or whatever. It's cardboard box. There's a delivery slip attached to it. Yeah, I'm deliberate. It's not that I don't see it. It's that I'm deliberately looking at everything you're not supposed to look at just so I can get the maximum amount of flavor.
Sender is Great Grin.
A popular online store.
Product description reads, solid model.
We should look inside. Use the X-ray mode.
This has nothing really to do with anything, but I guess we're just trying to figure out who it's for. But even then, it's like we're looking into somebody who called to report the crime. Then we're looking into their girlfriend or whatever, somebody they're obsessed with. Then we're looking into something that they bought for that girlfriend. Like, it's such a long-winded sequence just to figure out where they are, and they're not even necessarily a suspect at this point. You get to look, you get to use X-ray. It's just so far flung from what the case is actually about.
Now, what is this?
A solid PVC model of a person, known as a figure.
Something's written on the base.
He doesn't get offended by that.
The letters appear to be some kind of metal.
Sometimes she'll talk to you like you're an idiot.
Permeability of X-ray vision should make them legible.
A set.
Allow me to investigate. A moment, please.
What, are we gonna go into the dreams and the mind of this figure? Like, how are they gonna make this into a mechanic?
Date, I found some information about the figure. A-Set is the name of a popular female musician.
There's no way that could be the girl that he's obsessed with, could it?
Sounds like our witch. Is A set a group name?
Why would you get them a figure of themselves, though?
No, it is a single artist.
Or I guess that would make sense that it was from her then. She's sending him, for one, something.
An A set figure, huh?
Correct.
And why would she need some random delinquent kid to buy stuff for her then?
What's the name of her talent agency?
Or maybe he's just like an obsessed fan more so than an actual love interest.
Sorry, what?
I repeat, Lemniscate.
Renju owns that company.
Correct.
Oh, did it say that before? That would have been a good connection that I could have made. Or is he just revealing that for the first time? I wonder with some of these things. It did say he owns some company, internet entertainment company, and maid cafe manager. Okay, it doesn't say what exact. Manages the entertainment office, Lemniscate, and the maid. Oh no, it did say that before, I think. So that could have been a good connection the player could make just for the RP of it. I always try to be ahead of the player that way.
Does the name Lemniscate ring a bell?
Oh, yes! That's where Ota goes.
Iba, bring the car around.
At once.
Yeah, so now we can go to the map only when it prompts us, it seems like. Or maybe that's just at this point. Like, it would be cool if we could go back to the office and talk to the boss just for the flavor of it. But at least not at this point. So it just shows that generic scene of driving, I think, every time. It doesn't look any different depending on where you're going. That was a pretty quick scene, even despite my insistence on reading all the mundane flavor text.
That's him?
Correct.
Pretty sick music. Generally, the music has been pretty good so far, which is very important in a game like this.
Who are you?
How old is he anyway? Do we get to see that in our file? Mayumi, we don't get Oda yet though, I don't think. Mayumi Matsushita, female, 54, August 31st birthday, profession part-time worker. That doesn't really tell you what her profession is though, just the manner in which she performs it, like restaurant owner or operator. Floral patterns, Ota, Takiro. Dislikes witches, or specifically that one, everything that witch does. Hobbies, cleaning the shop, making soy sauce, that's her special secret recipe that we couldn't figure out what it was. Skills is everyday cuisine and obscure puns, which she didn't really make very many, so I don't know where he's getting that from. Mayumi is Oda's mother. Over 30 years ago, she and her husband took out significant... It's better than the random stupid puns that... or whatever kind of attempts at a joke that Aiba was trying to make, like there's a jellyfish, or there was another weird one that I already forgot. Mayumi is Oda's mother. Over 30 years ago, she and her husband took out significant loans to open Matsushita Diner near the Kabasaki district. She has been running the diner ever since. Lately, her memory has begun to get spotty. So we don't see Oda in this yet. It just says the first name there.
D.
The police?
So It doesn't seem like this kind of field work is our normal fare. So he looked all worried, and then we just stopped talking to him. I don't know what this fading to black thing is that it keeps doing all the time, like why that's necessary. Lots of magazines in that rack. I guess I don't even know how old this is, but I think it's pretty new. Like 2017 or 18 somehow? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see, how to take a girl home in just 2 minutes. I think I'll take a look at that. Yeah, try to use it on your boss, and I'm all for it. A vending machine full of drinks. A door. Wow. At least it didn't leave me hanging at just that. There's probably an office back there. Insightful. Promotional videos of the agency's talent are playing. Nothing dirty, though. It isn't that kind of company. You got a couple shots there that could be. It sounds like he's disappointed. Like, that's my kind of company if it was dirty.
A high school?
No, Dante.
What are these? Does he have some hearing problem? Is that some character trait that I'm forgetting about? Because I don't want too much of the dialogue to be like that. That's kind of stupid. Maybe his hearing was damaged in the accident that took his memory and his eye too. Who? Wait, which one? Oh. Uses his machine to dive into the minds of suspects or persons of interest. He lost his eye, replaced it with a prosthetic. He lost his memories. Nothing about his hearing, but it almost seems like he keeps mishearing everything she says. It's a high table, or maybe he just likes giving her a hard time. High stools around the table. Plant. Oh my.
Look! Ants! Look at them go! Yay!
You need to have a discussion about your obsession with insects.
I don't think she's mentioned them before, though. Why does it keep staying green even after you've already looked at it? So far. What is all this? He has some problem either speaking or hearing stuff. Where he keeps mistaking it for other words, or... I don't remember that from the first episode. A large window. Or he just states it very matter-of-factly. Hey Wormius, how's it going? Abstract painting. There's an abstract painting hung up.
Supposed to be.
I do not know.
Okay. Implying that she has more like a literal way of thinking as an AI. There's an abstract incomprehensible painting. The company's logo. Lemniscate. Okay. So we might meet our friend here, who could be the prime suspect, after all. Receptionist with huge breasts sitting behind the desk. This guy's not very subtle about his interests. Yeah, how many times does it make me read that before it's no longer green? We can't do anything with her. That's the reception desk. At least he's changing it. Oh shit, he's getting more and more fixated as he goes on. Laptop. What the fuck? How many times did he say it? I guess it's my fault for looking at it so many times, but I always have to get more flavor of his green. 1, 2, 3, reception desk 4, 5, 6, 7. Different pieces of text just committed to that.
What do you think would happen if I flip this table over right now?
It would come out of your salary.
You're probably right. Guess I won't.
He hasn't done anything to deserve that yet.
Can I reach over and break that thing in half?
If you can pay for the damages.
Damn it.
You've been working for that boss for 7 years, and you're some kind of famous, well-known detective at least. Like, that first officer was our fan that we saw at the scene, so he shouldn't be impoverished. Like, they always portray Phoenix like that in Phoenix Wright, like where he's poor and his clients never pay him, but he's probably the most famous lawyer in that world, in that universe. He would have to be. He takes down Manfred von Karma. He does all these kind of crazy cases. But then he still acts like he's poor, even in the newer games. Are you a fan of ASAP? What are you typing? Could you look at me? What can you tell me about last night? I kind of like to just get straight to the point, but then it makes you dance around it. Otherwise, they won't tell you anything. Won't even look in my direction. He's just typing away on his laptop. Oh, maybe that's why he wanted to flip over the table.
Last night?
Don't play dumb, kid. Yesterday, 9 p.m., you called the police from a payphone. You told them about screaming you heard coming from Bloom Park.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, Ota, look. We either do this here, or I take you down to the station.
At first, he seemed scared of us, but now he's being dismissive. But then again, to be fair, how do we justify that we know it was him? Oh, we have this special AI that invades your privacy that we
You
probably...
have a warrant?
Fair question.
Are Article 2.3 of the Execution of Law Enforcement Code, unless initiated by legal process.
Kind of disturbing that he knows it in such great detail, right? That's always implies that you're a criminal, that you have to...
No person shall be detained or obligated to answer any questions without explicit consent.
This is the type of kid I hate the most. What, who actually knows the law? Or who thinks he knows too much? What are you typing? Could you look at me?
How did you know that?
Because I'm psychic.
Excuse me?
Won't even look in my direction. Just typing away. I don't know why he keeps refreshing some of those back to green. I guess that one wasn't, but a lot of the things that you can...
Can you stop bothering me, please?
We're gonna have to find that girl first and somehow win her over to get him to talk.
No, I'm kinda busy right now.
You get actually an option that you can do here. I wonder if it's gonna force you to do that though. He's just typing away. Why don't we just try to go see the boss or whatever, or the girl? We can see our friend, we can see the girl, but instead it's gonna force us to punch him. We can't even leave this area, right? The map only comes up selectively. This guy is very pervy, except with his boss. He didn't show a ton of interest in her, although obviously you can't really do that.
Public will result in disciplinary action.
I was trying to do anything
What
but.
should I do?
I have an idea. Give me a moment.
Is this his normal investigative tactic? Or maybe he's just out of his element, because like he said, this isn't the kind of work he normally does. Kick him
I told
instead.
you to wait.
Waiting's just pissing me off more.
And she can kind of read our thoughts and mind, because she's like literally part of our conscious, I guess, consciousness.
What?
Listen to me, Date. Ota's PC is connected to the internet via Wi-Fi.
And?
I was curious, so I hacked into it.
We have just no limits with any of this stuff. Pongo Ponko, author orangutan. When are we going to get to a point where there's
Refer to ASET?
actually a failure state? I guess we'll go into either his mind or maybe our friends or maybe the girls.
That is a popular fan nickname for her.
That means Mato has to be Ota.
Correct. However, it appears that Ota is the one operating the other 3 accounts as well.
What?
Optical Protein Fiber, Pongo Ponko, and KG are all Ota's sub-accounts. Ota is insulting ASET and defending her all by himself. This is what's known as a straw man sock puppet, or false flagging.
This kid is pathetic.
Just to make him seem like a savior to her. How are we going to explain that we know that much?
Hey kid,
What do you want?
I'm gonna tell ASET
Tell her what?
that you're sock puppeting for her on Twitter.
Oh my god.
What are you?
You should drop the attitude.
You shouldn't make those kinds of accusations. Do you want to get sued for defamation?
How would we really prove that?
Optical Protein Fiber, Pongo Ponko, and KG are all your sub-accounts.
What? How do you know that?
I told you, kid. I'm psychic.
Oh, so he plays off the AI as just being psychic. That's kind of good. This is like the Sean Spencer effect. Because in The Mentalist, he at least admits he's not psychic, speaking of other famous psychic detectives. But Sean and Psych always pretend like he actually is psychic, but he's just like super observant. In this case, he's just letting the AI carry him. That's a good way to justify it without raising privacy concerns, I suppose.
Now, I have some questions for you.
Fine.
What kind of mechanic will it give us here? Just the same. I thought it would give us like an actual interrogation mechanic where we'd be limited in our options. Like if I ask one of these, it shouldn't let me ask the other 2 as well. Otherwise, then it just feels like a, illusion of choice. Why are you here? About last night? When did you start with the fake accounts? That's all I care about is last
I'm gonna
night.
ask you again. Were you the one who reported the screaming at Bloom Park around 9?
Yes.
Why were you in the area?
His eyes kind of went all derpy there, or were they like that the whole time? Like how his right eye is kind of a little squinty.
You better tell me, or I'll tell everyone about your little imaginary enemies. Hey everyone, this guy...
There's nobody even here besides the receptionist.
Okay, I'll talk. Just
About last night, when did you start with the fake accounts? Well, we just have to do it again?
I went to Bloom Park. Because I was supposed to meet someone.
Did you enter the park?
Yes.
So who were you meeting?
A girl named Mizuki Okiyura.
A 12-year-old girl. So how old is this guy? Do we get to finally see that? How do you do the thing again? Oh, you have to go to the menu, go to the file. I'm assuming the only new thing would just be this guy. But actually it's not. Sub, like a submissive to the goddess that he keeps talking about. Abbreviation for sub account. Oh, an account that is managed by the same individual as another main account. Could also be a Smurf account in competitive stuff, or it could also be what's the other app? What's the other word for that? I can't remember. Not that I've ever made such a thing, of course. Dis. Slang for insult, to insult. Originally an American word, it has found its way to Japan. Possibly an abbreviation of disrespect. Oh yeah. I guess I didn't think of it like that. The 10th time you say I'm psychic, the CIA is going to be on to you. The Japanese CIA. And yet we don't even know our own boss's name for some stupid reason.
What did you say?
Mizuki Okiyura? She's the daughter of the president of Lemniscate. Do you know her?
Yeah, I know her.
So we're her guardian despite her being... So there must have been some custody battle. But when in a custody battle does some random friend get the custody of the daughter rather than the mother or the father? Very strange. How did you know Mizuki? When did you start with the fake accounts? He's already kind of saying that, oh, I'm trying to chase clout through her. Like, she's the daughter of the owner of this company. Like, that's the first thing you mention about her?
She's just a friend.
Yes, she better be.
What? Why do you care?
Where and how did you two meet?
Why can't we see anything about this guy? That's so weird. He's not in our profiles yet. I just want to see how old he is.
Here, the Lemniscate lobby. Mizuki is friends with Tessa. I was talking to Tessa one day and she just comes up like, hey.
When was this?
Last September. So, I guess the relationship has lasted over a year now.
And you don't even know about it, so you're like an overprotective father figure.
Don't call it a relationship.
Well, what am I supposed to call it?
Okay. How do you know Mizuki? So will we get new information for asking the same thing again like we did last time?
Anyway, I have her look over my work sometimes.
Work?
I write light novels.
Really? What's your pen name?
Odo in Kyoma.
That is a lie. Database searches reveal no professional authors have ever submitted work under that name.
Hey, Ota. How about you stop lying to me?
Destroys confidence. He's an aspiring author.
My third eye can see through your bullshit.
Oh, that's an interesting way to say it, but it's actually really only your second eye, technically.
Well, I'm not a published author.
I guess he could technically get away with saying that because he lost his original eye, so it is his replacement
I'm
third
an
eye.
author to be exact. So, anyway, Mizuki reads my novels. I get notes and advice from her.
From a 6th grader?
She's surprisingly insightful.
How old are you? That's what I want to know.
She has the talent to be an editor for sure.
Are you here? When did you start with the fake accounts? Kind of just ignoring all the other
8:10
topics.
Last night, I got a call from Mizuki saying she wanted to meet me at Bloom Park. She sounded scared. You know how that area is run down and abandoned?
Why was she there in the first place? I guess her mom took her, for some reason, to an abandoned amusement park, probably to meet the father.
I think she wanted me to go with her as protection.
But why Bloom Park?
Someone messaged her on Nile.
Nile is a popular messaging application for smartphones and PCs.
What did they say?
Lisa has a more original name than Two Witter or whatever the fuck.
She didn't tell me exactly, but it said to come to the merry-go-round at Bloom Park tonight.
Who sent it?
I don't know. But Mizuki was determined to go.
Why was her mom? Maybe her mom came there later to like protect her or something, or I don't know. When did you start with the fake accounts? Why are you here? Can you provide a detailed account?
What happened next?
It's so stupid how it makes you just do the same topic over and over.
I met up with Mizuki and we went into the park.
The mother wasn't there yet, at least. We haven't really heard any dialogue from her yet. Or did she discover the mother's body there at that time? I couldn't really see what she was looking at.
Did you leave her there? You left a 12-year-old girl by herself?
I didn't mean to.
Well, she chose to go there by herself, so
I was panicking. People do stupid things when they're in fight or flight mode.
you did her a favor just by joining her.
When people grab their pillow and run out of their house in a
Jeez, you're a real hero, kid.
See, I knew you would make fun of me. This is why I didn't want to tell you.
Is that why you didn't identify yourself on the phone? You seriously didn't think we'd find you? Mizuki would have told us everything.
I didn't think she would.
Why wouldn't she?
She lost her memory too, conveniently like you, I guess.
She said that if she ever got caught going out at night with someone like me, her roommate would kill her.
Good girl.
And that the roommate is obviously us. Doesn't tell her that it's more like a father figure, or more like a guardian than a roommate.
I tried using my cell phone at first, but my heart was pounding and I was scared and my hand was shaking.
And apparently it doesn't work either. Like our Iba said it was
With the
disconnected
rain last night,
somehow.
it kind of slipped out of my hand.
Must have broke.
You dropped it?
Yeah, right into a puddle.
Iba, can you trace the last signal that Otis' phone sent out?
Near Bloom Park, just past 9 p.m. The phone has not been turned on since.
He may as well be a lie detector. We can just fact check everything he
She's
says.
telling the truth.
Hey, Ota, what are you doing?
Tessa!
I guess I didn't notice those blue gloves before. The Shea Bunny
And
headphone
you
things.
Mr. Date from the MPD. He came here to ask me about what happened last night.
You mean a detective? Wow! I've never met a real detective before.
Say something. All this fading to black, they really overuse that. It's not even like it's a still screen. There is movement.
Date, your adrenaline level is rising. Is something the matter?
No, nothing.
You should know he's a perv by now. He's gonna cast her spell on us too. So we finally get Oda. I guess we get it more so after we talk to them. I guess that kind of makes sense in a way because he doesn't know enough about them to create a profile in his little journal. So he's just writing this as he's talking to the guy. This isn't even... He likes to do things seemingly by hand, even though he has the AI. It's not like she wrote this. Oda Matsushita, male, 24. So he's friends with a 12-year-old girl. And I don't know how old this other chick is. Presumably more like his age. Light novel author, self-declared. Asset. He doesn't really look that old. So this guy looks much younger than he is, as does the boss. She doesn't look 42 at all to me. And we're only 30. Dislikes Tessa's enemies, preachy people like his mother or probably us. Asset Tessa, chocolate. Hobbies, net idols, maid cafes. Cooking omelet rice. Driving, sock puppeting. Oda is Mayumi's son. An enthusiastic follower of Asset. She's a real asset to the company. She has nice assets. He often pushes the boundary between idols and fans. He writes his own light novels and gets editing advice from his friend Mizuki, who of course we didn't know about. The appendix, Nile. I just kind of want to see that core mechanic again of the dreams at least once more. Like, to see if we're gonna really struggle or potentially die to it. I'm assuming we'll do it to our friend, the ex-husband, whose name I keep forgetting, Renju, right? That would be like our boss battle to see whether he did it or not, I suppose. So Nile is the new thing here, a social networking service that allows you to exchange instant messages via smartphones and PC. My dream is to one day make stamps for this application. Oh, there's another one. Odoin Kayoma. Oda's pen name. He came up with it by starting a popular fiction character reference, then spelling out the name in hiragana and then changing the letters to kanji, each character of which containing a certain meaning. That is very complicated. Now, how old is she if we're gonna be all pervy with her, like everybody else? Do Japanese women really act like anime characters? What's your relationship with Oda? Are you asset? I think we already established that. What's your relationship? You're friends with Mizuki. Let's just get always back to the point of the case.
Mizuki Okiura? Yeah, I am. Mr. Okiura runs the agency, and Mizuki is his daughter. So, we hang out sometimes.
Is that how you became friends?
There's more to it than that, but basically,
This is more like the cliche assistant character that we would get in most of these games. Mizuki and I live under the same roof. Yeah, tell us more about that. Mizuki and Column. So she was in a hospital bed, so maybe she lost her memory or she's just traumatized. And they didn't formally accuse her. Like, our boss seemed kind of unsure of whether she did it or not. But she was holding the weapon, so that's like the typical, you know, telltale suspect in one of these games, and then you obviously have to defend her. But she doesn't tell me about her personal life. She doesn't tell me much of anything, come to think of it. I'm totally in the dark.
So, Mizuki must come here to hang out sometime.
Are you Asset? What's your relationship?
Let me confirm something. You're Aced, right?
let's play a game. Shadows!
Thread? Silhouette? Aset?
Fears!
Upset? Regret? Aset?
I don't know this one.
Water!
What is this?
Wet, sweat, Aset?
Yay! A-set, you bet!
The magnetic currents in the atmosphere are clearly causing aberrant behavior. We should leave.
How old are you? Yeah, that's the first thing I would ask. No, presumably, that's what Phoenix should always ask to his assistant characters. Like, I kept asking how old was Rafa for the whole beginning of Spirit of Justice, because they didn't tell you for a super long time. The first
18 this year.
the first question you should ask in any of these games.
A senior in high school?
Yep.
So he likes younger girls, clearly. He's 24, and he's flirting with a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old. And of course, the age of consent is only 13 in Japan, so it's not like, oh, you're 18, so that's... In fact, it's 16 here, so you wouldn't even...
I recommend you keep your hands to yourself.
He didn't need that confirmation for her to be that old.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna make a move.
What?
Oh, I meant Ota.
Wait, you were gonna make a move on me?
Relationship?
Her like a goddess and a summoned thrall.
Her thrall?
If Tessa ever gets in trouble, I swoop in and protect her.
Oh, so that's her real name is Tessa, I guess? ASET, you bet. A kind of call and response game that ASET plays with her fans. Japanese idols often create a special cheer or slogan for their fans to memorize and chant at concerts. Assets, they say it ASET, but obviously that's the pun name. And what was the other one? Oh, like Abyss. What was the other? Oh yeah, Eyeball. There's so many of these punny names. Actually better than a lot of the Phoenix Wright puns. Those have really gone downhill. Like in Spirit of Justice, those were some of the worst ones. Like Temple. They just spell it a little bit differently. Or what were some of the other ones? Understanding. They just spell it in like a weird way, but it basically just spells out a word. A kind of, or I'll be your guide is obviously one of your little boy assistant in that case. A kind of call and response. Okay. For their fans to memorize and chant in concerts. Asset's cheer works by Asset announcing a category and having her fan come up with 2 words that rhyme with Asset in that category. Oh, okay. This is a pen name. He came up with it by starting... Okay, I think we saw that. What was the other new thing? Volatile solvents. He keeps getting cut off by the new sticker. Liquids that vaporize at room temperature, toluene, acetone, and ethanol are volatile solvents. When did that come up in our conversation? Oh, with...
You sound more like a superhero than a thrall. Ota always defends me when I'm getting bashed online.
by his own identity, and I'm sure there's nobody else who really legitimately does it. Consent is 13. Is this game Weibo 101? Now, I think that in real life, that's actually what it is in Japan, I'm pretty sure. Which is why they can get away with so many of these sexualized young characters in their games, which always confuses or offends the West. Oda always defends me when I'm getting bashed online.
Stop! You're making me blush.
This guy. Hey, let me tell you something. It's about those posts on Twitter.
Wait!
Looks like you're my thrall now. Isn't that right, Ota?
Yeah, just be cool.
Something wrong?
Just the way he looked at her for so long at the beginning was very odd. But she's kind of nice to him, at least. I thought she'd be more of a dick.
Gee, Tessa, you always look so cute. So cute. So cute that I can't take it. Don't you think so too, Date?
You're awfully familiar with her.
I can't help it. Her loving aura is in the air. When I'm with her, my head gets all light, and I just relax and don't sweat the small stuff, you know?
So the only reason why she's so close to him is presumably because of the, he comes to her rescue online. Otherwise, she wouldn't hang out with some random delinquent kid. And apparently, he buys her stuff a lot. But I don't know how he has that much money, even. Did you talk to her about last night? Pick out Choco's photo.
You know who this is, right?
Yeah, it's the woman I saw at Bloom Park.
But you don't know that that was Mizuki's mother.
Her name is Shoko Nadami. I saw it on the news.
Oh, they don't share the same last name, I guess. Wait. We said the same thing. Do they share the same? Mizuki Okiura. Oh, of course, she has the father's name.
Do you not know who her daughter is?
She has a daughter?
I didn't know that either.
They must be unaware that Shoko is Mizuki's mother.
Wait, what did she do? Like, why is she a famous celebrity that people seem to know about, though? Investment company representative or director. Okay. They never said that Date and her had a fling, or ever went on a date, so to speak, but you would presume so. Or at least they're such good friends that she trusts him to be the guardian of her daughter. But then why wasn't she just doing it herself? They must be unaware that Shoko is Mizuki's mother.
Her last name is different.
Yeah.
Nadami and Okiura.
It has also not yet been reported that Shoko is Renju's ex-wife.
How could that be? That happened so long ago, didn't it? That's weird that you'd be able to sweep that under the carpet. Can we not talk to the receptionist at any point? There's nobody else here either, so like our threat that, we're gonna tell everybody that you made those fake accounts wasn't really very credible. Maybe they just can't handle animating stuff in the background. We're leaving. Who is we? Me and Aiba or me and the asset? Did you talk to her about last night? We're leaving.
You aren't even blinking.
Yeah, it's something to do with my... Although I did just blink when we saw him in the bottom there. It's something with our prosthetic eye. It's not just because we're a creepy perving on a 18-year-old girl as a 30-year-old. Did you talk to her about last night? We're leaving.
Oh,
I heard about it. About Ota seeing that corpse at Bloom Park. He told me.
You're saying that so happily.
Tessa?
Why didn't you come to the police?
Such a shocking story would certainly pique the young woman's interest. It is possible Ota wanted her attention.
He told her about a dead body he found for attention?
He doesn't seem that bothered by it either.
Actually, I already knew about it before Ota told me.
Because I'm the killer.
How?
It's all over the internet. When I saw Ota this morning, I asked him about it.
Oh, maybe he's the one who put it there too, for clout chasing
He told me
purposes.
he saw the body.
And you just believe everything he says? So it seems like it wants us to just leave, which we didn't learn anything really. We just want to talk to Renju, which we kind of wanted to do from the first place. It's not really a look or more of a gawk or an enraptured gaze. Kind of like you were doing now. This guy wasn't so... Our character wasn't so pervy the first episode, but when he was looking at the TV, he made it quite clear. Or even the receptionist, he was drooling over. He can't control himself. Just commit yourself to your boss and you're all set.
Come on, I'm shy. You're embarrassing me.
He doesn't seem really bothered by it. There is kind of a disturbing implication to this. You got a 30-year-old detective drooling over an 18-year-old and a 24-year-old kid drooling over a 12-year-old.
Date, I have determined that these two have no further information for us. Our goal is to find the murderer of Shoko Nadami. Let us continue.
Right. Let's head back to the crime scene.
We didn't really learn anything.
See you kids later.
Where are you going?
Back to where the corpse was found.
In that case, I'll go with you.
We could use a
Yo,
young...
What?
How many young female assistant potentials are there? I guess our boss isn't as young as I thought, but there's the boss as a female assistant. There's Aiba as a 5-year-old in a certain context. We have Mizuki could be our assistant.
Please take me with you?
Is she actually gonna be?
Why?
Because I want to know more about what happened. Do you have any suspects? Probably some crazy murderer, right?
I even said she fits the profile of an assistant character in one of these games
That's
so
what
well.
was telling me. The corpse was strung up on that merry-go-round. It must have been some kind of twisted message.
And it could be a copycat of the guy from 6 years ago, apparently.
Ota, take a video.
Huh?
Just do it. Mr. Date! Please, Mr. Date, you can't leave me.
What?
I can't imagine life without you.
What are you doing?
Ota, did you get it?
Oh, yeah.
Just role playing a little bit. Behavior does not make sense. So much weebness. Even more than usual. Yeah, can we finally talk to the receptionist? Huge breasts. I mean, to be fair, she is wearing them in such a way. Even our boss has a very busty outfit.
No, not at all. I'm just imagining your body sinking into Tokyo Bay.
I'm used to sinking. Part of the job.
Oh, that's a good pun at least.
Huh?
So he never tells anybody about the AI. Like, even when he said, oh, I'm not trying to, I won't make a move, they kind of overheard him, like, who's he talking to? Of course, she doesn't seem interested because we're like a famous, well-known detective. She doesn't seem to know who we are specifically, but just because we're a detective, period. So now we made him jealous. Rather inappropriate smile on the face given the circumstances.
Mr. Date, you are a member of the MPD, aren't you? A public servant?
It's gonna turn out that she's the killer and that's why she's sucking up to us.
I wonder, what would happen if this little video happened to go viral?
You wouldn't.
Oh, and just so you know, taking my phone away won't help.
You could just say she was, I don't know what she was doing.
It's already in the cloud.
You little...
Oh shit, that's smart actually. So now we have no choice but to take her as an assistant. Not that it seems like he should have minded. Or maybe it's just
I told you.
distracting for him.
I want you to take me to the scene of the crime. If you do, I promise I'll delete the video.
Date, a thought has occurred to me.
You could just delete it for
She
me.
really is quite the seductress.
That's all. That's very helpful. Little do you know, he's actually likes that. So that guy's not going to come with us, is he? This is a little bit more of the assistant trope than I was even expecting to happen. Oh, we do get a different driving scene. I was wrong. It's not always the same generic thing. When you will get close to the truth, she will make you look like a pedo. But technically she's 18, so even by the strictest standards, that's not quite the case. Although sometimes there's like an age gap thing. I know so much about this. Like, I never even knew the age of consent was 13, but because of all these games, I had to wonder. So we get to roleplay driving. Rides with strangers. A creepy 30-year-old with an 18-year-old, but she doesn't seem to be bothered by our weird fascination with her. The rear view mirror. I can see the scenery. That game never came out. It was looking like it was going to be good, and then they kind of just baited everybody who gave money into it. That's why you should never pay for like Kickstarter stuff. You can look at her there. The glove box.
Got any guns in here? I bet you do.
No, not in there.
So you do have a gun.
Freudian slip there. What else can we interact with here? Passenger seat. The passenger seat. The gear shift. Okay. I love that flavor text. It just tells you exactly what it says on the outside. That's so stupid. It looked like there was something up here. Center console. It's got an AC and radio controls in it. This is an interesting scene. We haven't really seen like ourselves inside the car yet. I wonder why they're even doing this. So this is Aiba looking at her, not us. So we can perv on her without her even knowing, right? The eye can see in like all 360-degree directions, apparently. I don't know exactly how that works, but it feels like there's something else above, outside, but the camera keeps blocking us. I guess just the wheel is the last thing. Oh, the dashboard. This car isn't domestic. It's made in Australia, so the steering wheel is on the right side. That's because they also drive on the left side of the road. Okay. Where's the dashboard? I just saw it. Center console wheel. How do I get back to that? Did I miss it? Oh, there. The dash has a ton of stuff built in. It has the speedometer, tachometer, and other meters and gauges.
Yeah, Indians use the left too.
What?
Nothing. Just thinking. This ride is pretty rad, huh?
It is indeed.
Steering wheel. The dashboard. It's not letting us go back to the hospital either, so I'm assuming we didn't really hear what they talked about, but with Mizuki. About Mizuki, why did you become an idol? About Ota, do you have questions for me? Yeah, let's indulge her a little bit.
Questions.
13-year-old children can't consent. Japan legally forced. Happy time. Questions.
What's it like being a detective?
Wouldn't know much about that. I'm not a detective.
But you are a cop, right?
Didn't he just say he was a detective, like when he first met Oda?
But I'm not on the crimes unit.
Then what unit are you in?
Or are you gonna use it on her just to show off?
Indeed.
You aren't gonna tell me? Please?
What are you doing?
Just thinking about posting that video.
Oh, she's gonna force
Whoa,
us.
Hold up now.
Well then, tell me!
You would think Aiba could easily hack into that and just delete it, given all the abilities that she has. Why did you become an idol about Oda about that video?
You know, now that I think about it, wouldn't you get in trouble for that video too?
What?
The video. You're an idol, right? You have a status to maintain. If that video went viral, I think you'd be in trouble too.
It's okay.
It is?
Because sometime real soon, I'm going to die.
What?
I can see into the future. I know when I'm going to die. Just kidding!
Kind of saw that coming.
Anyway, I'm not going down without a fight.
He was the one just pretending to be psychic, but he can't read into when someone else is doing that.
So I will release that video if you don't cooperate.
Yeah, that was interesting. About my department, she's a pretty good actor. Like, even when she burst into tears against us there, it was kind of like a twofold act. On one hand, you could say, oh, she's just role-playing, she's just having a good time, like, whatever. But on the other hand, so it's not that you really believe that she's, you know, crying and that attached to somebody she just met. But then on the other hand, she's using it as blackmail, so I didn't really read into that part of it.
Why do you ask?
You two are very close for an idol and a fan.
Ota is special. He really is like a hero to me.
Hero, huh?
Why? He's just some random juvenile delinquent.
I'm part of a special investigation unit known as Abyss.
Date,
I don't have a choice.
What's Abyss?
Advanced Brain Investigation Squad.
Now, so in order to prevent a minor inconvenience that the video might cause, you're going to open up a potential privacy lawsuit and other issues that would actually be more
The
legitimate.
public doesn't know about it.
Wow, cool!
Don't tell anyone.
I promise I won't.
Now you're giving her, so she's using one form of blackmail to give you something else that she could blackmail you with.
I swear to the Egyptian goddess Isis.
Some of this dialogue is so random.
Well, I guess it was because I've always wanted to be famous, you know? I want to be famous. Get on TV. Be a household name.
But you're not there yet.
It's alright. Internet stars do better if they don't sell out.
Internet star?
Ota didn't tell you? I'm most famous on the internet. I do songs, and dances, and play video games and stuff on stream.
A streamer.
Have you heard of Shovel Forge?
Shovel Forge is a game in which you manipulate cubes on the terrain to build structures.
At least that name isn't too blatantly similar.
I've been focusing a lot on that game lately.
What about being on TV?
I'm not very popular yet. I can only get on TV as a background singer or something.
It almost seemed like the opposite at first. Oh, do we finally get a profile for it? Appendix. Apparently not. It's so weird how they kind of cuck you with these profiles. There's only going to be 28 for the whole game, though, apparently, based on this. Cloud storage. Online storage utilizing cloud computing. To put it simply, you can imagine it as a storage device of digital data on a network. Some of these descriptions, man. Remember when Date said, "I'm used to sinking"? That was a pun. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. As a sinker at Abyss, which is why he made that. Yes, you don't need to spell it out that much, dude. Wait, what even was that for? Like, what description was that part of? Oh, sink. I'm surprised it didn't just tell us what an actual sink is. It has a faucet that runs water. I'm not very popular yet.
Any gigs either.
Isis. Nice choice. You seemed a lot more oh, maybe that's why. That explains. I guess we were building her up as being a lot more famous, but that's why she's consorting with a 24-year-old random dude. How did you start to work? And about Mizuki.
Well, at first all I did was stream from home. And then, not to sound cocky, but I started getting pretty big. I started getting offers from agencies.
And one of them was Lemniscate?
Well, not exactly.
Huh?
My mom's actually an old friend of the president of the agency.
Friend of Renju's?
Yeah. So I asked him for advice one day.
Maybe they eloped. Maybe that's why they.
You have to be careful.
Maybe that's why the divorce happened.
Even a place that looks legitimate with an office and everything can be sketchy. And my mom and I didn't know anything about the industry at all. Anyway, one day Mr. Okiura said to come see him at his office, and he hooked me up.
He's not saying that agency is sketchy, but they were afraid of going to other ones, I suppose. About Mizuki, asked for her real name.
By the way, I didn't catch your name.
You really want to know?
Wasn't it Tessa?
It's okay if you don't want to tell me.
Or that could be another nickname?
Iris. Iris Sagan. I know, weird, right?
What is it that's happening when that...
Ratty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it, poke it, fill it with fruit. Something wrong?
No, it's nothing.
Oh, his memory's starting to come back a little bit. That was something that happened before the 7-year gap, I suppose. We didn't get to ask about Mizuki again. So you can actually miss dialogue like that. So finally we get back to here. You can't really move too freely.
Excuse me, Yukaname Date?
That's right.
Oh, you want an autograph like that other guy did?
She's an important witness for this case.
Yep.
We've got business here.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows who we are, except I guess she didn't know who we are. I guess only people on the inside would know, like other officers. That's why he was a fan of ours, because it is like an unknown unit to the public. Couldn't hold back the excitement and rushed onto the scene. If only we could do the same, but we get to just stand in one place the whole time. There's a Ferris wheel. It still reminds me of a giant eye staring down.
Mr. Date, that horse.
That was stored in the warehouse nearby.
We get to replace our boss with her for now. I wonder if they're just going to keep doing makeshift assistants for every case. Like, is she really going to be here the whole time?
Some kids must have broken in and put it up as a joke.
She's just thinking about this from the content angle. Like, she'll get famous off of some viral thing that she makes out of doing this. Somehow. Merry-go-round skewered horse upside down. It looks pathetic. So supposedly there was some previous case in the past that involved a similar instance of killing somebody, or what the boss was implying that it could be a copycat crime of, but we didn't hear more about it. She was very tight-lipped afterwards. A parasol, a bench. Wonder how many couples sat there. Makes me kind of angry for some reason.
Those damn benches if I could.
Where is this anger coming from?
So maybe they broke up before, like he lost his memory. He doesn't seem to even know, like, I guess he hasn't explained his relation to her. But you can see, like, skills are lying and cheating. Someone who hurt her in the past. That could have happened after, like, 6+ years ago. So maybe he doesn't remember. Iris Sagan, female, 18, October 26. High school senior, internet idol. Singing, dancing, the occult, irises, and Mizuki is what she likes. Apparently not Oda, even. Dislikes scary people. Hobbies are singing, dancing, and let's plays. Runs extremely fast. Iris is an internet idol musician belonging to the Internet Entertainment Office Lemniscate. Her stage name is Asshead, but her fans call her Tessa, which neither of which have anything to do with her real name. That's interesting. She is Hitomi's daughter and good friends with Oda and Mizuki. So wait, who is Hitomi again? I guess we don't have the profile for it, but Hitomi is friends with Renju as well. So maybe they eloped after the divorce or something like that. I'm just kind of assuming. We don't even really know why they divorced, Renju and Shoko. But obviously that makes him look like a prime suspect. We haven't talked to him. We haven't seen him or heard of him. We don't even know what his whereabouts were that night. They called him and he wouldn't pick up the phone, the cops. Shovel Forge, a masterpiece of sandbox video games in which you create structures by stacking cubes on a map. A sandbox game refers to games in which there is no story or goal, allowing the player to just relax and play. The name Shovel Forge is a parody of a popular game in the same genre, which I will not mention for legal reasons. Kind of breaking the fourth wall there. They haven't really done that as much. Underground. Iris said that she doesn't get many gigs. She is more popular in the underground music scene, which nowadays means the internet. Doesn't seem very underground. That's more conspicuous than just about anything else. Surprised they don't make a TikTok reference with that. Where is this anger coming from? Even he doesn't seem to know. So he's upset at the victim for... That could be a twist. We could turn out to be the killer ourselves, but then what would be the point? Then maybe we'll play as somebody else to catch ourselves. That'd be kind of cool. The autumn sky is clear and blue. The air is clear and cold. Wait, what? We're in for another cold fall. Maybe I misread it. Why would he say the same? Is clear and blue and clear and cold. Okay. Merry-go-round, skewered upside down. So that would imply that the killer did all of this? Or maybe this was done at some other point, like just some general vandalism. Let's see if any of these guys are our fans too.
It's not looking too great. We searched all over here. We didn't find nothing.
You can't see their eyes. Like when NPCs wear helmets so they don't have to animate the mouths and stuff, but I guess the eye wouldn't be as hard to do as this. Like their mouths do move, don't they? They even bothered to voice act them. A local cop. Local cop. I don't really see what her being a witness would allow her to come into the crime scene for. That doesn't really give you any special privileges. The type that you can put a coin in.
Bear? I'm not gonna be punished, am I?
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Just thinking about a game I like.
Bench for couples. Panda ride. She's actually not as annoying as I thought she'd be, though. So far. It's a control room.
Phone booth?
It just seems kind of odd having Aiba. I thought Aiba would serve some of the same purpose.
No, it's the control room.
Sort of the comic relief and maybe some sort of weird pseudo love interest, even though...
This is where the staff would run the merry-go-round.
I was joking. But hey, if you sense any trouble, you can hop in there and change.
How old are you, making that reference?
I suspect that she did not give you her real age, knowing what a phone booth is.
To control, but you could easily verify what her real age is given the, she gave you her real name. Or maybe that's another fake name, a third alias. It's a phone booth, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The roof of the merry-go-round, there's a hole in it now from all the years of weathering. What else do you have? You have a fence, you have a column. The body's gone, I guess. We never did really get a good close-up of it, I suppose. There's a fence around it. A lot of just banal, mundane stuff that doesn't have to do with anything. Last night I found Mizuki inside the central column. Why was she in there? And when you took her to the hospital, either she didn't remember, or she was passed out, or you just didn't ask. I don't know why it repeats stuff like that, because then it stays green, so it makes you think it could be something new, and sometimes it is. So you wouldn't really know.
I know what you're thinking, Mr. Date.
It'll make you more famous. That's how you get on TV.
See me dance on that pole, huh?
He probably actually was thinking that.
What are you talking about?
Oh, he seemed to be genuine with that, though. I feel like there's something else green right here, but now I can't see it. So what do we got? The horses. And just, we could talk to her. I don't see how she's really going to help here. So she knew about it because supposedly it was circulating on the internet. But she doesn't really have anything directly to do with it. She wasn't here too, was she? Or did she say that and I just forgot? Use the death note to figure out if it's a real name. Yoko's corpse was tied up here. Wait a second.
Can you show me the earliest recorded images of the scene of the crime?
What is your intention?
Shoko's cause of death was blood loss from multiple stab wounds with the ice pick. Naturally, there should be plenty of blood.
Agreed.
But there isn't a single drop on the horse. And it was like this when we found it.
So she was killed somewhere else and brought here?
There are no signs of blood being wiped or washed off, either.
Oh, you can just do luminol just by sight now?
That must mean...
I don't know if that's even really what it's called, but I'm just so stuck on that term whenever I hear that. Like luminol testing fluid. It must be a real thing. But I've never really heard it in any other series. I guess they just say it more generically. Like, oh, we're just testing for blood. They don't really say with what. There's no blood on the horse. That must mean they were just killed somewhere else. So they were put here just for theatric effect. Just like how those other horses are upside down and stuff. It lets you look in this whole zoom in screen, but there's only one thing to look at. You would think there'd be something else to make it worth the trouble. I don't know if that exit thing blinking means that there's nothing else to find, or if it just always does that.
Last night, Shoko's corpse was on top of the horse.
It has been removed. The body has been transported to headquarters for autopsy and review.
Yeah, we can see that. Sometimes you'll just say the obvious. This is the horse that Shoko's corpse was put on. We both have a gift for that. But usually Aiba tells you something a little bit more useful to know. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Have you been here before? Chasing clouds.
She's a natural detective, huh?
Mr. Date, was the body on top of this horse here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, she's gonna have like some great shining moment where she actually does help us come up with something, and then that will earn our respect, and she'll actually follow us the rest of the whole experience.
Seems like some kind of ritual murder to me. Maybe a religious cult sacrificing her to the devil or something. They conducted their ritual here, like shadowy, hooded figures going around and around.
I don't want to hear
stabbing her one by one.
more about that case from 6 years ago or whatever.
Quite an imagination. But do you have any proof?
Oh, maybe that's why she won't tell us, because I just noticed that overlap between the dates, like how we lost our memory 6+ years ago, and how we were working for over 6 years, and something happened that's similar to this case 6 years ago. So maybe that was the incident we were investigating and something happened to cause us to lose our memory.
I do.
Well, let's hear it.
So that's why she didn't realize when she first said it, but she doesn't want us to know about it, I guess. Or then we'll blame her for it, like, oh, it was your fault that you sent me on that, or you didn't protect me, something. You're wasting your time. Have you been here before? Why do you think it was a ritual murder?
The horses. Horse? Sounds kind of like Horus, right?
What are you talking about?
You don't know Horus? Horus is the Egyptian god of the sky and sun.
He has a real interest in them.
The right eye is the eye of Ra, and that's the sun. The left eye is the eye of Wadjet, and that one is the moon. It's the same idea behind the eye of Providence.
The Eye of Providence?
The all-seeing eye.
Oh, I see. Just like what's on the back of a $1 bill.
Yeah, exactly. The Eye of Providence is supposed to be the symbol of Freemasonry and the Illuminati. Starting to see the picture?
Not really.
There's a lot of useless information. Why do you think this was a ritual murder? Now, she'll say something different, though. Because
I
since...
remember Ota describing the scene. He said there was an ice pick stabbed into the corpse's left eye socket. Horus? Providence? Left eye? There has to be some kind of meaning to this.
You're just reaching.
What did you just say?
What?
The ice pick was inside the victim's left eye socket?
Oh yeah, we didn't hear that before, because he wouldn't tell us anything. It wasn't like that at the time. It was in her hand. Maybe she just took it out
Yeah?
because she thought that would help her.
Ota told you that? He's sure that's what he saw.
Imagine if that was the cause of death. Like, she would have been okay if Mizuki left it in there, but she wanted to help her mother, who looks like she's in pain and dying, so she takes it out, and that causes her to die from blood loss.
Why?
When we arrived at the scene, the ice pick was not in the victim's eye socket.
If Ota's telling the truth...
He would have no reason to lie about such a detail.
She was holding it.
Mizuki?
Oh, even he's suspecting her of doing it in the first place. Iris is investigating the horse, looking over it curiously. Doesn't seem like there's anything else we can interact with. How about we look inside that center column again?
Hey, Iris, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here, but you're wasting your time.
This place was closed for a while, but I don't think it was closed after the original incident 6 years ago. I think it said like it's been closed for 2 or 3 years, or maybe they didn't give an exact time frame.
What do you mean?
The cops already scoured the place. They didn't find any leads, not a single clue. If they had, they would have notified Iba.
I mean, you found the murder weapon.
Iba.
My partner.
Your partner? I don't see anybody.
She's right in front of your eyes.
Or is she in front of my eyes? We keep leaving that hanging. We'll keep making a reference to it or talk to her, and they'll just let it pass. Nobody presses on it. Looking over it curiously, she keeps moving out of the
Younger, but not since it closed.
hitbox of the button.
Kawasaki is restricted, right? No one's supposed to be here.
For how long has it been restricted, though?
This amusement park, Bloom Park, is located at the heart of the Kawasaki district.
Oh, the whole district is
It
closed
was
off?
closed 8 years ago. The closure was due to an accident at a nearby chemical plant. An explosion caused massive amounts of chemical pollutants to contaminate the area.
Huh.
The government quickly issued evacuation orders. Eventually, the entire district was deemed unsafe for habitation and restricted. Therefore, Bloom Park was permanently closed.
Interesting place to commit a crime.
But a restricted area doesn't mean much if there aren't enough officers to patrol it.
And so why was anybody here, let alone Mizuki and Oda, and then also somebody like called her and Oda didn't know who it was? And then why was the mother here later?
There's still plenty of ways in. You can even get in by boat.
Sounds like you've tried.
Hell, some people ignore the evac order and are still living here.
Are they okay?
I don't know. But if anything happened to them, it'd be their own fault.
Are we safe?
We are, yeah. Decontamination for this area is basically done. The chemical concentration around here isn't high enough to hurt you.
Then why not just reopen
You
it?
could run a marathon here and be okay.
But it's still off limits, right?
Yes, legally. That keeps the media out at least. I'm glad. It's quieter than it usually is.
Okay, what else can we even look at? I thought she would trigger some follow-up. No other green things to look at. Can't go inside the column. Last night you found her here. Local cop. Where's that other one who was such a big fan of ours? He's the only one who's actually said that, like, you're that famous detective. Maybe we're not even that famous, he's just a personal fan of ours. Cityscape, buildings in the distance. Not really sure what it actually wants you to do here. And of course you can't leave the scene. Like to go back to talk to the boss or whatever. Something new in the file. So I wonder if the flowchart would keep showing the same. I guess it just shows every scene. So it would show us at the office building and then it would show us here. So this would be like scene 5, I suppose. Or no, scene 6, because scene 4 was, scene 1 was here at the carousel. Scene 2 was at the hospital, I guess, wasn't a scene. It was just in passing. So we went to the... When did we go inside our own dream and stuff then? Like, where were we physically? I guess we went back to our apartment and did it there. And that's also what we saw in our vision, or no? He said he didn't recognize the place, so it must have been somewhere where he lived previously, like 6 years ago or something. So the scene 1 was at the carousel. Scene 2 was in our dream. Scene 3 was in our boss's office. Scene 4 was where we started today at the noodle shop, or whatever it was, the diner. And then the scene 5 was at the, whatever that's called, lemon whatever place. And then scene 6 is here. A secret society allegedly founded in Ingolstadt, Bavaria in 1776. I guess I didn't know that part. Originally just a private club of university professors and students, but now it has become actually, I better stop now before I mysteriously disappear. I didn't know any of that, actually. I thought it was started by just a bunch of rich people. University professors and students. Time of arrival. Okay. Eye of Providence, a symbol from Christian theology, depicted as an eye enclosed in a triangle. Providence, meaning of divinity and guidance, and an eye that represents God's all-seeing eye and that looks down on all of humanity. Originally, the Eye of Providence was not defined to be either right or left specifically, more like a third eye. Most depictions are drawn as the left eye. A little bit of overlap with our own Iba. Interesting decision to put this in here. Freemasons. Interesting that it's covered around like this. Where's all that stuff coming from? The fuck? A fraternity founded sometime between the late 16th and early 17th century. Publicly, they're an organization devoted to the improvement of moral character, but in reality, they does not compute. You would think they would change their imagery and namesake if that was really the case. Like, they wouldn't actually use that to identify themselves then. There's actually nothing that I can do. I mean, there is no other mechanic. I don't know what the auto thing does. I guess it just means the text would scroll automatically, which is kind of... could be good, like especially when there's voice acting. But just in case you want to stop on something. Those are two things that all of these games should have, is voice acting for all the dialogue and also a backlog. And it even combines both of those elements where you can listen to the voice again for that, which is awesome.
Are we safe?
Not actually sure what it wants you to do here. Let's just go through the whole screen. Ferris wheel, we looked in the center, we looked in that. The fact that it's grayed out means that it probably doesn't want you to do something with it, I would assume. Can't even talk to her anymore, I don't think. Or, oh, you can just initiate that we want to go with that. So we're always going to have to ask for someone's permission to leave any area. We don't get to freely use the map.
Oh, come on! Just a little longer.
You're not really doing anything, though.
I'm already in enough trouble bringing a civilian in here.
Okay, I guess.
Hard to believe that she'd be with us the whole rest of the game then, because we would have to keep justifying it somehow. So basically that didn't accomplish anything, the last two scenes. Now something will happen.
Hey, you alright?
Maybe it's not as
okay?
decontaminated as you think.
Morning sickness.
What?
I'm kidding.
Oh, you gotta stop doing that.
I would know.
Get on. I'll give you a ride home.
Yeah, score.
Just wondering, but how much do you weigh?
Don't you know it's rude to ask a lady that?
105 pounds.
I see. 105, huh?
You can tell just by lifting me?
Yeah.
The first thing we asked was her age too, so those are
So warm, Mr. Date.
both the rude questions you could ask. Weird interactions here, but he kind of likes it. He was kind of stunned by her at first. Just give me the actual dream mechanic or some mechanic that I can actually do. It's kind of weird that he keeps showing you these scenes. So are we going to have a choice between all the love interests? Like we can, well, there's maybe some far-flung theory that you could, you know, choose Aiba in that, but at least between the boss and her, even though she's 18, I guess it wouldn't, I guess that is a good thing, not a bad thing. The glove box.
Stuff always gets beat up when you put it in here. Don't you wish they could make these things a little nicer?
But she's only 18. It's not like she has a car. So how would she even know that? I guess she could still put stuff in somebody else's. The gear shift. It's kind of like an old school car in a way, though. Just how the radio is and stuff doesn't really seem as fancy as what this guy was going for. He got it from Australia.
Oh my God. There's a woman in the back seat.
What? Where?
I'm just screwing with you.
Mr. Date! You're a meanie.
You've already role-played like 3 times. You pretended to have morning sickness, although the fact that we carried her means something must have still been wrong. And then you also pretended to... What was the other thing? She did something in the car. And then she pretended, obviously, to cry against us and blackmail us. What did she do in the car where she was role-playing something? Oh, that she's gonna die soon.
A meanie, huh?
I almost...
Meanie, meanie, bo beanie.
Banana fan of Fofini?
Fee-fi mo-meanie?
Meanie. Can't believe I remember that silly rhyme.
See the scenery through the window. Was that same kind of game that she was playing with Oda? You can look at her. You can look at the wheel. I think we missed some interaction before that we could have done.
You know, I'm feeling kind of bored.
Seriously?
The steering wheel. So much innuendo, even with the boss. When are we going to see her again, I wonder? We can't even go back to the office at will. There should always be like one location that you can always go to whenever you want. Like how you can go to Phoenix's office so much. Or... passenger seat, okay. There's nothing left to do but interact with her again.
Mr. Date, shouldn't you keep your eyes on the road?
But we can always see out of the corner of our eye, apparently. Like, we can see her at all
Don't worry
times.
about it. I'm a professional.
We haven't really told her about the... sitting in the passenger seat.
Oh, horrible.
Shame.
Oh, you should worry about me more.
Looks like you're feeling better now.
Maybe I'm just acting.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that so
I
far.
don't think so.
What if I threw up right here?
I would put it right back where it came from.
Ew, that makes me actually want to throw up.
What is the point of a scene like this? Why are they even bothering? Just ingratiating
Seriously?
you with a partner.
No, but I am kind of warm.
The current temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 60%. It is unlikely that heat would be a factor.
Hey, Date. They say when you stick your hand out of a car going 100, you get a rush like you're holding D cups.
Hey, watch it. You'll get your arm ripped off.
Relax, I'm invincible.
He's really going 100?
My
And-
arm regenerates like an alien's.
Didn't you tell me that you're gonna die soon?
Maybe she wasn't joking, but she just is joking that she's
It
joking.
feels strange.
Your hand?
No, not that. It feels like I've met you before.
Oh, I guess we have. When she was even younger than she still is now.
Well, that's nice. But if you don't get your damn hand back in this car right now.
He even had like a little flash of it, so he should know that maybe we have met before.
Okay, okay.
Too young to be like a
That's nice.
sibling. Probably more likely that, oh, I guess that confirms then that she is going to be a major recurring character. They wouldn't do that for just a one-off where we're going to get to... Couldn't really be our daughter because there's only a 12-year difference. So who could it be? Somebody else's daughter that we know? Sagan resident. So we're going to just drop her off, I guess?
You should come in.
No, that's all right. I'm gonna head home.
Her father wrote Contact, one of my favorite books, Carl Sagan.
Oh, going home already?
Wait, that's her. Wait, that's the one we saw in the dream. You're not going to notice that? That was the one we just saw. What could that mean? We notices her, but man, how many female...
Oh, who is this, Iris?
Every character in this game is a female besides us. Even our AI. That woman, she's... Yes, who? She's the one who is in your vision, and this... More so, just the... house looks like what you saw in there. It can't be, it can't be. As I stood there, stunned, Iris grabbed my hand.
Come on, I'll make some tea.
You're
Nice to meet you. I'm Iris's mother, Hitomi.
Miss Hitomi.
You don't even ask who I am or anything?
And you are?
Oh, there.
Kaname Date from the MPD.
Police. Are you a detective?
No, Mom. Mr. Date said he's...
Iris?
Oh, right.
Well, we did kind of tell her about half of it. Like, that we work for the secret unit, but not what the AI exactly is.
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Then why is he here? An awkward silence, Iris brought us some tea on a tray, put everything down on the table and sat on the sofa. It was like a perfect time for that dream mechanic. So this is the same exact room that we saw in that dream before. You see a plant in the corner. No insects, unfortunately. Sorry, Aiba. Oh yeah, she has some weird fascination with them, which we only really saw last time. Maybe she met... Or I mean, this time. I forget when. She actually said it, like in the diner. Like we looked at the plant and she was getting all excited. Or no, I think it was in the office. There was a plant there in front of the screen. We didn't actually accomplish much and didn't get any mechanical sort of interaction as far as the dream thing again. That seems to be the main core mechanic, but they're kind of cucking us with that. It's the front door, nothing to see there. It's a shoebox. I wonder what they smell like.
Are beyond perverted.
Hey, these thoughts are private, okay?
Yeah, what is his deal, man? And then he won't express it verbally, like to people, but he'll always think it in his head. So like, he didn't say anything weird to her. In fact, even she was saying innuendo to him and almost implying stuff, probably just as a joke, sure, but so you can't move the camera up any further than this point. It's a calendar and a strange object on the shelf. It reminds me of a kind of angel. What is that object? Table candle and mysterious object on the shelf. Why do you keep slightly changing the dialogue? And oh, no, you can go up further. Why did I feel like I couldn't? Oh, you can only go so far with the right stick, up and down here. But with the left, you can go all the way out. A clock. 10 out of 10 flavor text. Again, wooden shelf. At least it doesn't say the exact same thing. It says shelves and then a wooden shelf. Clock. A clock. What is the point of doing that? There are no books on it, but it's definitely a bookshelf. If you don't have anything interesting to say, don't say anything at all. I saw it in the catalog before, so I know. But you're not connecting that you saw this dream, and I guess that's why he was so stunned, but he seemed more stunned by the woman. That fact that she was dead. But you don't seem to care that it's the same location. The lights are off. How do you know that you're not in a dream right now, even? There are a lot of dishes. Microwave.
Let me know if you're cold. I'll pop you in there and warm you up.
I would suggest putting your heart in there first.
Oh, good one. Actually, good line. That one and the other pun. What was it? Like, I'm out of sync or something? It's even so good that they're so proud of it that they put it in the file. I'm used to being out of sync or something like that. It was like it. What was it? Remember when Dante said, I'm used to syncing? I forget now what the context he said that in was, though.
Date, a riddle. How do you put a giraffe in a refrigerator?
What?
The solution is this. You open the door, put the giraffe in, and close the door.
What kind of a riddle is that?
Another riddle. How do you put an elephant in the refrigerator?
Isn't it the same answer? Open the door, put it in, close the door.
Incorrect. The giraffe is already inside. You must remove the giraffe before
Okay.
you put the elephant inside.
You didn't say the two were connected.
That's the solution.
Your riddles could use some work.
Yeah, shouldn't you have some amazing database or just get one off the internet? It's amazing that you could pretend to be psychic just by having that, right? Just by having, well, not in all situations, but you know, you meet somebody for the first time and you know everything about them that you could find out on the internet or through their private stuff if you could just hack into their Facebook and stuff. So you could play it off like you actually are psychic, which is kind of exactly what this guy is doing. You got dining table.
We could always sit here and ask the spirits what they think.
It's not a divining table.
What is this? That he has like some kind of dyslexia, or he says words that sound similar to what he's looking at. It's like some recurring joke, but there really is no punchline to it. Can't see them from here, but there's probably a sink and a stove on the other side. You're not putting together that you already just saw this in the dream? So you must have known her when she was young, somehow. It should be all coming back to you. The drawing on the wall, I wonder if Iris drew this when she was younger. And that could be you that she drew. Although, I don't know really how. It'd be more like a sibling thing than a... You couldn't be her dad at the ripe age of 12. You can see trees and sky outside. Yeah, thanks for telling me what I can see. How about you tell me something about it? Telephone in the corner.
The flowers.
It's an iris.
An iris. I thought those bloom in May.
That's the winter iris. Iris ungicularis. They bloom in the cold.
They bloomed just this morning.
I see.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. When I saw the flowers this morning, I just knew something good would happen.
Meeting you, I guess? A winter iris means good news and hope. Yeah, you're acting... Now you're not using Iva to seem like you're smart. You're using her. I've seen the cushion somewhere. No, not just the cushion. I've seen the entire... Yeah, thank you
No
for
problem, Date.
finally acknowledging that. Why wouldn't Iva be aware of that too?
Oh, that's nothing.
She was there too, maybe because she drank too much wine. A cushion, great. A door. So the door that we left from is actually the one behind us that we came in from in there. So what was behind that door, I wonder? I think we had to open both. We had to put the light switch on and stuff. It'd be interesting if there was some way like that it draws parallels. Like some of that stuff we're still going to have to do. Or, I don't know what the point of showing us this is. Aside from it's something that he knows from his past. Wasn't Iba even chiding us? Like, you sure you don't know what this place is? Like, almost like she knew. We haven't had her longer than it's been since we lost our memory, though. We got her after that accident happened. So it's not like she would know more going back further than we would, unless you know it from some other external source. Iris and the mother Hitomi are sitting on the sofa, I say as I'm looking at a screen that doesn't contain either of them. A plant always takes you back to that great Mark Wahlberg scene where he fucking talks to the fake plant in The Happening. The one good scene from the movie. A speaker system, 2 speakers and a console. 2 speakers and a long thin box in the middle. It's like what?
Mr. Date? What are you staring at?
Your sound system.
He does that a
My
lot.
sound system. What about it?
I was just admiring it. I wish I had one that big.
Right.
You get an achievement for that. I want cool stereo equipment. A speaker system. Aren't you a highly paid secret super detective who's even famous among the police force themselves. You can't afford that. And he made a reference to that earlier too, that he's like poor or something. Oh yeah, can you afford to flip the table over and get in trouble and reprimanded? We didn't even ask our boss's permission to take the civilian there. We kind of just did it and said, you know, we're in trouble, but we really weren't. Nobody really knew about that. I guess they'll hear about it later. There was something green over there, wasn't it? I feel like that keeps happening. It's not her. Basically just the door, but I don't want to advance the scene. Always hard to tell like what it wants you to do first. Talking to them could advance the scene so you can't look around, or looking around could advance the scene so you can't talk to them. Sofa. Imagine if you actually just did this. You sit here for like 10 minutes in somebody's house as a detective. Like, this is part of the job, I guess. Just looking at random stuff that has nothing to do with anything. Steam is rising from the tea. Workbooks. There are some elementary workbooks on the table. By looking closely, one in the middle is different. Osagami Sumo Wrestler Directory. Sumo Wrestling, okay. What else is there? Basically just a door, I think, to look at. Hopefully this won't advance the scene then. There's a door in the back of the room, which I do distinctly remember opening, but I think that just advanced the scene. We didn't go through it. And then this is how we left, by putting the gun in the keyhole. The evolver, I guess. And then, oh no, I think we ended the scene. No, we went through this one, but then we saw somebody with blood around them. Was that maybe Renji? It was a guy. A guy with blood. So maybe we are kind of divining the future from that, because we hadn't really had any reason to think about him. Well, I guess we kind of know, we're friends with him, and we kind of know that he would be related to the crime. So maybe it's a theory that maybe he could have done it, which is probably a pretty reasonable theory. You look chipper, you were saying. You seem to be doing well now. How long have you been living here?
Since I was born. And Mom was living here before that.
I grew up in this house. I've made a lot of memories here. I've thought about moving before, but I just couldn't bring myself to leave this place.
Why were you considering moving?
Well, because there was... well, I don't know.
Huh?
There's some kind of accident or problem, maybe even involving you somehow. I can't really figure out what his place would have been, though. Looking this way.
You think so?
Yeah,
I was just thinking about a hunch I had this morning.
a hunch.
There are flowers blooming behind me, right?
There are, yeah? What about them?
What? About the flowers? What about the flowers? Maybe... Good news and hope. Now we can look at it closer. Oh no, it looked like that. Whenever that pops up, it seems like you can examine it close up. What about it? They keep leaving stuff hanging like that. Or is it hinting about the flowers blooming behind her? Oh, that's another one of those things where I screw up the mechanic. You can look at it, but you have to use the other... No? Maybe I can't. No, not this time you can't do it. I guess I can't do anything with it yet. Hinting about the flowers blooming behind her.
Mr. Date, please drink your tea. It's getting cold.
Oh, right.
We haven't even touched our cups.
Well then, let's have a sip.
Have to go to
Left-handed?
cut to a black screen just for that.
Oh, Mom used to be right-handed, but now...
So something happened. Probably the same accident that we went through, but then
Walked
how...
up on me.
Ah, I see.
Okay. Bunch of random tidbits of information, none of which have to do with the case.
Thanks to you, I feel as tough as a lion. Rawr!
How am I supposed to react to that?
Don't think about it. You'll only hurt yourself.
Why do you have to react at all? What about these flowers? Why doesn't it let us... It won't let me actually do anything with them. Flower, maybe there's another. Maybe it's directly behind her and you just can't see it. Flowers are blooming behind you. Okay, we'll talk to her then. About Renju. Where do you work? So what would you even know about Renju?
By the way, I heard that you were friends with the president of Lens.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okura.
Renju was my classmate at Eitoku High. We've known each other for 20 years now.
Wow.
Toku High.
You know it?
I know everything on the internet.
And thanks to you, so do we, I guess, on demand.
Yes, I do. But I only met her twice. Once at Renju's wedding, and then again just a few months ago. Why do you ask?
No
Did
reason.
you have a motive to kill her? Does she even know that she's dead? I saw her in my dream. Being killed, actually.
I'm a teacher at the local elementary school.
It's not really so much that you're seeing her in your dream, it's more so you're seeing her in your memory from somewhere, even if you can't identify it.
Teacher. Must be a tough job.
Oh, not for me. I love children. Even the struggles and challenges are quite rewarding for me. I'm 37.
And Miss Iris here is 18?
We always ask, that should be the first instinct. Always ask what their age is first.
Yup.
No reason,
You were very
really.
young when you had her.
Yes, just 19 years old.
Maybe a bit of a forward, rude thing to
What
say.
about your husband?
It wasn't a husband
I
situation.
don't have one.
Divorce?
Mr. Date, please.
It's all right, Iris.
What does this have to do with the case? More to the point. Forget about how forward and rude that all
I've
is.
never been married.
A single mother.
Yes.
Very common. So what's your point? It doesn't go anywhere. He just asks random things. I guess there's nothing new in here still. Just ask their age. Ask their whole romantic history. Like, what's your point?
Well, I think it's time for me to be heading home.
These scenes are so comically random. They don't actually add anything. This is obviously something personal to him that he should recognize the place, but shouldn't have headed for the door. We didn't learn anything. We barely even asked
Mr.
about.
Date, we'll see each other again, right?
You sure you want that? I'm a cop after all. If you ever see me again, it probably won't be under the best of circumstances.
That's a good line.
Oh,
But because you're Mizuki's friend, yeah, we might see each other again.
At first we were kind of, wait. So they're friends, but also Oda's friends
He's
with
kinda like my
Mizuki.
roommate after all.
It's a weird way to put it. You're her guardian.
Anyway, be seeing you.
Yeah, I'm just roommates with a random 12-year-old by chance. Why did it like skip and cut like that?
Excuse me. Well, I should head home.
Oh, because she can't move her arm.
All right. Take care, Date.
Why do we seem so much taller now? Or they're about the same height. So where is this going? Do we finally get to see Renji and go and hack into his dreams or whatever? Because that's really what I was looking forward to. Or I thought maybe we'd use it on somebody else.
Date, let's go over the facts of the case.
There's a lot of people who are just quote-unquote friends, like Renji and Hitomi are friends, and we said we were friends with the victim, but it's almost like implying something
idea.
more. Yeah. I do like these car scenes. This is perfect for like a pre-trial review. But of course there's going to be no trial. This is a good place to end off, I guess. Man, so we didn't get any mechanical anything. It was just all talking to random stuff. Like, what did we even do? We started off at the diner. We learned about Ota. We went to the office where he works or whatever, where he creeps on the girl and obsesses over her. And now she's found a new fixation in us. Like, he was her knight in shining armor because he would protect her from online trolls, which apparently all of them were just him, as if she wouldn't just have some other natural ones. Like, she's not famous enough to even deserve to have trolls. And then from there we went to the scene again. We didn't really learn much there either. It just feels like there's not really a moment in the scene that like some big revelation happens yet. It's very slow paced. Hitomi Sagan, 37, female, May 11th birthday, profession elementary school teacher, likes children. Okano Miyaka, I think that was the something to do with the samurai stuff on the table. Likes friends, likes Iris, likes Mizuki. We didn't really mention that too much though, right? We asked if she knew the victim, but not Mizuki. Dislikes antisocial people. Dislikes war and sickness. Pretty basic things there. Hobbies: reading, gardening, watching zombie movies. How do we even know that? When did she ever mention that? Skills: plays a video game involving shooting down alien invaders. Yeah, the one. As if they're on 100 like that. Hitomi is Iris's mother and unmarried. That was such a stupid, boneheaded way to ask that. Like, we picked up on the fact that she can't move her one arm, even though we immediately forgot it and tried to shake her the wrong way then, to shake her hand. But also, we kept beating that like a dead horse. Like, what about the husband? And then she doesn't answer. And then we're like, oh, you were awfully young when you had her. And like, you just kept asking it again and again in the most awkward way ever. Iris's mother, her parents died in an accident when she was 17. When did we learn that? Where are we getting all this stuff from? I guess Iba could just Google it, but she raised Iris alone. Due to an injury in the past, she can't move her right arm. Somehow that injury is going to be related to our injury, but then you would think she would recognize us. Okay. I guess that's good. You can save it kind of anytime you want, it seems like. Oh yeah, let's look at the flowchart to review like what little... Oh no, it's only 3 things. How come it didn't add anything new? How could that be? What if I wanted to redo these sections? Or these might have like subsections. That's so weird. Ongoing. So this Saturday thing is super fucking long. These 2 scenes were just like, okay, this is just the beginning of the carousel very briefly. This is... Or wait. So this includes the office scene too, I would assume. We start at the boss's office, then we go from there to the diner, then we go from the diner to the office where Oda is, then we go from there to the carousel again with Iris, then we have a couple car scenes in between each of those, going to the carousel, leaving the carousel, and then we also went to the house to drop her off, then we come back in the car and it's still going. So this chapter is super long. They should split it up a bit more than that. That's insane compared to the other ones. Okay, let's do this. Kind of want to delete some of these. I don't want them to keep... Oh no, I guess we can just overwrite them. There is some autosave that isn't the one that I actually am using, but I guess it would just save at the beginning of the car scene anyway. So all this reviewing and stuff doesn't really matter towards that. It actually has some weird feature where you can't save consecutive times. I wonder why that is. There's some very odd things about this game, but I just want to get to that mechanic again where we can at least be under pressure of a failure state. That's how good that format is. First playthrough, also permadeath. It can take the weirdest, seemingly most uninteresting games even, potentially, and turn them into something exciting because your life is always on the line. So it's never going to be too easy, and you actually have to pay attention and process stuff. The weirdest feature is definitely the flavor text being so banal and uninteresting sometimes, just telling you kind of what it is. A jurisdiction is a jurisdiction. At least this has some more to say about it than that. Large hospital in the Minato district, which is where Mizuki is now. Okay, that's good enough. Even though we really didn't accomplish anything. I guess I'll listen for the crackling again this time. Is there like a difficulty setting? Doesn't really seem like it. But obviously the permadeath would just be we get the 3 retries, and then once we have to restart or we fail, we would just be dead.